So I promised our listeners a fantastic guest, and a fantastic guest I will deliver. I am thrilled and honored to be joined by my friend, Mr. Jerry Paulsen, retired Army veteran, retired law enforcement. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us here in studio, and thank you for your ongoing service.
Thanks, Scott. Pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you, my friend. So, Jerry, as mentioned, you have served in the United States Army for quite a few years, retiring at the rank of E9 CSM, and we are grateful for that. You've continued your service, but Jerry, if you don't mind, share the highlights of your career.
The highlights of my career has been just working with such great people throughout the entire career, and being lucky enough and blessed enough to also have some great relationships with two of our former SMAs, Sergeant Majors of the Army, along with a lot of the flag officers that are common household names, but it still relies just down in the trenches with just everyday battle buddies. That's where it is.
And it's interesting because I talk about it on our radio program, but also on the podcast that I host, that for some people, they put on the uniform, and anybody that puts on the uniform should be thanked for their service. But then for some people, they want to get out, and that's the beginning of the next stage of their life. For you, Mr. Paulsen, that is so not the case. You've continued. I've seen your office, and it is covered. You would think that you're still in uniform, and nobody would know that you actually have any business enterprise on the side.
I still am sort of in uniform. I trifected, so I did the active Army, the Army National Guard, the Army Reserves, and now with my part-time civilian assignment with the United States Army Recruiting Command Chicago Battalion as the chairman for our Military Veteran Resource Group. So I literally left seat, right seat with our current Lieutenant Colonel and our current Command Sergeant Major on that, and that group is mandated, the MVRG, Military Veteran Resource Group, is a mandate by DOD and Big Army. So I'm still plugged in. I'm still connected. I'll still put on the uniform and still carry on because I still bleed red, white, blue, and Army green.
That's right. That's right. I know you do. So, but Jerry, you do have other businesses too, and I want to touch on a couple of things.
I do.
Our time together certainly will not be sufficient, and we'll make sure our listeners know where they can reach you. But you have discovered an opportunity for your companies, but also for, most importantly, paying it forward, helping others to discover ways to do business outside of these United States. You have discovered some interesting work in Guam. Jerry, do you mind telling us a little bit about that?
I did. I have a for-profit business that we teach presentation communication skills called Paulsen Productions. And while I was in Guam about 11 years ago now, the buildup was starting to come about. And after a trip to Guam, had a lot of businesses, both veteran and non-veteran, come to me and say, "What's all the buildup about?" I said, "I don't have a clue." And I really did not. I said, "Call my friend over at Department of Commerce." So I had him call her. She calls me and says, "Why are you having everybody call me?" And I said, "The buildup." She says, "Jerry, Department of Commerce is not allowed to take businesses to Guam. We can only do international trips. Since Guam's a territory, why don't you do it?" I said, "Sounds great to me." Met with staff, took a look at the Department of Commerce's business model, and we launched Guam Business Discovery. So now we are the only company in the world that takes businesses of any size, any discipline, any business arena to Guam in support of the largest military buildup in U.S. history, with our government now spending in excess of $10 billion to relocate the Marines from Okinawa to Guam.
And you have been recognized by the legislature in Guam for your work and dedication to the people of Guam. So it's important to recognize that what you're doing is it literally impacting a territory and changing their economy. But in reality, you are providing businesses the opportunity to discover a ripe area, as you just said. $10 billion. That's huge, and so many trade opportunities. And really, for almost any business owner that might be tuning in tonight, there are opportunities for you. So Jerry, you take folks out to Guam. I know sort of it's been slowed down a drop because of COVID, but you're already your team is gearing up for early 2021, I understand, to continue those efforts.
That's correct. We've already started scheduling trips for the first quarter and well into second quarter. And it is literally, Scott, for any size business. We've taken brand new businesses that are brand new startups in the state of Illinois and other states who've never even made a dime for their businesses, but they've invested in that opportunity because the opportunity is so great. And not only is there that $10 billion on the federal side, but the government of Guam has $3 to $5 billion to ramp up, revitalize, rejuvenate their infrastructure, and private sector has $3 to $5 billion in opportunity. So any business, regardless of size, what they're doing, because we need everything from telephone poles to toothpicks to transformers, can take one of our trips. We get them in front of all the key decision makers, centers of influence, and all the other key folks so that they can present exactly what their goods and services are in order to help get those contracts to build the new base and fix the infrastructure.
It's fascinating, and it's literally the time is now. I was mentioning to our earlier guests, a lot of things are about being in the right time, right place. Certainly, this is what that is all about. So I've got to squeeze in a very quick break. When we come back, we are going to continue talking. You mentioned Paulsen Productions, and that is something that I think each and every one of our listeners can learn and benefit from as well. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about some of your nonprofit endeavors as well. You're listening to Jerry Paulsen, and Jerry will be back with us in just a moment on Get Down to Business.
AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to Get Down to Business. Continuing our conversation here in the beautiful Elk Grove Village studio with my friend, Army veteran, retired law enforcement professional, Jerry Paulsen. Jerry, you were just explaining all about your work in bringing entrepreneurs, business owners to Guam, but you also do so much else for entrepreneurs as well in helping them present effectively, which also helps them grow their businesses. Can you tell us a little bit about how that has developed and what exactly do you do?
Yeah, I have no idea, but we're having a great time. No, we started Paulsen Productions, the core company, back in 1994 in teaching presentation and communication skills, all based off a book I wrote that has a methodology that's so unique it's copyrighted as a one-of-a-kind with the U.S. Library of Congress. So that really has been the catalyst and the hallmark for what we've done all over the globe in teaching now in 26 countries.
How many folks have come through your training?
We hit a benchmark in December, 400,000.
Congratulations.
It's now, but that's soup to nuts. That is everything from your new hires all the way to CEOs. We've had contracts with Microsoft, American Express, Chiquita, Campbell's, Coca-Cola, and then a lot of our international clients, as well as the federal government and recruiting command in particular.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that. I was going to ask how certainly you are paying it forward continuously, both, of course, in business, but also through your many volunteer efforts, which will definitely continue the conversation in subsequent shows. But I'm curious, Jerry, how your time serving active duty, reserve, guard, how it has trained you and how it's affected you in business in all of these different areas that we've been talking about.
If it wasn't for the military, I wouldn't be where I'm at. That's just the bottom line. With our work ethics, with our warrior ethos, with all the great mentors I had, even going all the way back to my first drill sergeant Saul T. Shout out. He's not with us anymore, but you're not going to forget your first DI. All those core values, all the hard work, all the sweat equity. It may be long hours in the military, but just like long hours as an entrepreneur. But as the sweat equity continues, and as I tell everybody, if you never remember anything I say, just remember 3 words. It's networking, networking, networking. Because that's what it's all about. Not only in the military, but in business too. And the other thing I always like to tell everybody when I do my keynotes, wherever they are around the world, as a veteran and as a member of our United States military, we have never left a member or a buddy on the battlefield. We cannot leave them on the battlefield of business.
Absolutely, and I know that it's people first, and that's how you started our conversation today, and I know that that is mission critical in every line of work and everything that you do, and that's, just to give a plug, that's in your nonprofit work involving equine therapy, helping active duty service members. It's incredible and so important. So I always love to squeeze in our couple of minutes remaining.
Sure.
what is the one thing that to everybody listening, in terms of the Paulsen Productions, in terms of that speaking, communication, training, what is the one thing that people can implement in their workplace, in their business, whatever that business is, this week?
Practice. Because no matter what we do, communication is key in business for success. It's not about how you look. It's not about the glow and the glitz and the glam of the presentation. It's how you put it together and how you present it. Because that's the bottom line. As I tell all of my staff, the one thing, if you come to work and you bring an A game, I want your resignation.
Absolutely fascinating. And Jerry, I know that you practice that. You deliver keynotes, and you have helped so many businesses bring business out to Guam, bring business internationally. It's incredible. So Jerry, lots for folks to follow up with you on, whether it's around supporting the recruiting efforts, the accession efforts for the United States Army, whether it's about bringing business to Guam, as my dad would say, and he's probably listening tonight, it's all widgets. Doesn't matter what line of work you're in. Certainly that practice is true. Certainly you can do business in Guam. Certainly you can benefit from all of these areas, and you can support our service members. So how can people get in touch with you to learn more?
That's easy. You can contact us through the website at info@Paulsen, Paulsen, productionsinc.com, or by calling the office at area code 847-529-5200. We'll get back to you right away, answer all your questions. We're taking registrations for Guam right now, and we are ready to go and continue on with the battle rhythm and pay it forward.
Fantastic. Can you share that phone number one more time?
Sure. It's area code 847-529-5200.
Fantastic. And again, I've been chatting with Jerry Paulsen, Army veteran and retired law enforcement professional. Jerry, I have to ask in closing, during your many, many years of service, most interesting place that you have ever been and interacted, people that you've interacted with?
I'm going to pull a line from The Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home. Because it's right here. No matter where we go, no matter how many times you travel, doing the 200 days a year, the 400,000 air miles, there's still no better place than what we've got right here. We got to God bless America and God bless all of our troops serving, and think of them every single day.
That's right, Jerry. Absolutely. And for those that want to, I always love to spotlight an organization. For those that want to support your work, I mentioned your work in equine therapy for active duty service members. Can you give us the one-liner on that?
Sure. It's for any active duty or any veteran who has served, regardless of their paper. DD-214, good discharge, bad discharge, doesn't matter. We will take you for free in our program, and it's www.operationhorsesandheroes.org. And you can find us on the web and on social media as well. And it's the same phone number, 847-529-5200. And thanks for having me, Scott.
Absolutely, Jerry. Thank you. Come back real soon. Donate support of the organization. Contact Jerry. Fascinating stories and fantastic coach and mentor to so many business owners. Jerry, thanks so much for coming in studio.
Thanks,
Come back real soon. I'll be joined by Dr. Jim White, Army veteran, right after this quick break.